Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit or Zappy here, back again with Demon Slayer. We are on episode 13, and yes, I'm wearing my glasses. I never really wear them. The last time I would have worn them on a video would have been Mob Psycho 100, I think, the first season. There was a few episodes there where I decided to wear them, just because I've had these for a while. I mean, I got these in high school, and for reference, I'm 26 now, so you're talking like 10 years since I left high school anyway. I guess I would have been 17, but yeah, it's probably about 10 or 11 years I've had these glasses, and I've rarely used them, and they still make my eyesight so much better. So, you know what I mean? I don't know, I just chose to wear them today. And also, it might look like underneath, I mean, this is why I probably shouldn't wear them, but fuck it, I don't care. Not but fuck it, but fuck it. It might look weird, because obviously my big overhead lamp, or light thing here, that I've got this photographic light that I have, it's causing the light obviously to bounce off, and it looks like I have really like baggy and black eyes like right under here. But trust me, look, even if I go down, the shadow follows. It's just the thingy off my glasses. So yes, it looks stupid. What a stupid explanation, right? Maybe I should have just started the fucking video without the glasses, but who gives a fuck anyway, right? What happened last time? So we were in the Suzumi mansion, right? Or what they, it's not actually the name of it, but it's the one that they sort of you know, they applied that title to it because the inhabitants of the mansion itself is, well, 3 demons, and one of them, who is the owner of the mansion, uses Suzumis, those sort of like Japanese percussion type drum instruments, and every time he uses them, depending on which one he hits, changes the mansion in a certain sort of way. So the room might spin left or right, claws might, you know, come out of the fucking the tatami floor, and there's also one that was on his back that caused the room, like, you to sort of the rooms to teleport into a different room in the mansion. But one of the demons took that off him, and the older brother of the 2 kids picked it up, and he's been using it to sort of like stay alive, and stay away from the demons. So yeah, the little sisters with the older brother now, they're doing that thing, just keeping out of the way while Tanjiro goes up against this guy. And also we saw Zenitsu actually become a badass, although it does take him to be asleep in order to do so. He's completely unaware of like his sort of innate abilities lying deep within, dormant. And he even thought that the little kid was the one that saved him in the end. But we all know that it wasn't, but it's fucking cool anyway regardless, and I love the thunder breathing, it looks really cool. The boar guy as well, he's that sort of like reckless style kind of thing. He I think he is a human, but he's sort of just acting like he is not, hence the fucking ball head. You know, so it's not a case that he's a demon, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, this Kyogai guy was one of the 12 Kizuki, but basically got thrown out because he couldn't finish his enough, you know, meals, I suppose. And therefore he's looking out for Morechi, which is the older brother who has that red blood type. This is equivalent to 50 or 100 humans, right? So in between there. So yeah, when we left off, obviously Tanjiro was sort of getting a bit worked up. He was, you know, like, he was getting scared because he's still fairly injured from the last battle, and therefore he feels like he can't make a move, and it's making him sort of afraid to move on forward. But he got a little speech, a sort of slash, so almost like a Bruce Lee speech from Urukadaki in his head, and that spurred him on. So and that's where we ended. So yeah, there's nothing else to really talk about. So we're going to get in episode 13 and see what we get. So yeah, if you do obviously want to go watch the actual reaction highlight, the 10-minute version, then you can do with the link down in the description. There'll also be a full-length link down there as well. If you do want to go watch it in full, then you can do. It'll link you over to my Patreon. You can watch it there. So yeah, the option's there if you want it. But yeah, nothing else to really talk about. So we're going to get in episode 13 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Let's get one thing out the way, right? I will not forgive that fucking bullshit reason, like keeping Tanjiro from moving to help Zenitsu for the sole reason so they could drag it out, so they could end the fucking episode on a cliffhanger. It's such a dick move, man. It's shit, because this is the reason why, right? Like, it's a legit criticism, because I haven't had any for this show, right? but this is one that I do. Like, I feel like it affects Tanjiro's character, right? I truly don't think that Tanjiro would sit there waiting while Zenitsu's getting beat up on, right? And if you're doing that for the sake of drawing out the show just so that it ends on a cliffhanger, like that's not, like, it's inexcusable, I think. Because the writing and the characters and whatnot come first. I don't want a meta reason for drawing stuff out. You know what I mean? Especially when it affects a character. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Tanjiro is like, he is written to be the most likable character ever. Like, I don't know why anyone would dislike him. You know what I mean? And I mean that from a specific character point of view. I don't mean like, you know, like meta, like, you know, oh, I don't like characters that are just all like goody two shoes and never do anything wrong. I don't mean it from that perspective, like as a character trope. I mean like as a character with a good heart, like, you know what I mean? You don't dislike him for that reason. So it's like there shouldn't be a reason to hate him, like, or dislike why he's not, you know, because he wouldn't just stand there while Zenitsu's getting beaten up on, especially when he's literally like, you know what character Zenitsu has been like since, you know, for these past few episodes, and the fact that he is like, not only is he not in his, like, you know, his, when his under and his subconscious takes over badass mode. Obviously Tanjiro doesn't know about that, but you've seen him be like a coward in every other respect. Like every time, like, not when, even when nothing's happened, he's going crazy. You know what I mean? And he comes across as that massive coward. The fact that he's literally taking a beating, right, almost to the point of death, to protect something of yours, which you clearly, like, which Tanjiro clearly stated, like, this is more precious than my life, right? So not only is he watching this innocent guy be beaten up on, but also protecting the one thing that's more precious than your life, and you're standing there. You know what I mean? Like, it's inexcusable. It's inexcusable stretching that out just to fucking hit the cliffhanger. God, like, honestly, you're better off doing it some other way. Like, maybe elongating the point before Tanjiro actually makes it outside the house. And then that way, that, you know what I mean, as soon as Tanjiro sees it, right, you know what I mean, you get a close-up on his eye, immediately he goes into attack mode, and then shoots off towards him, right? You don't need him standing there for, like, you know what I mean, like a full fucking, like, half a minute while he's getting beat up on, and then take another 10 seconds for him to say knock it off, and then he goes. You could have just elongated other parts of the episode so that didn't happen, you know? Rant out the way. You know what I mean? It might have been a bit explosive. I might have been taking that a bit too far. But, you know, it fucking cliffhangers, man. You know what I mean? They get to me. And what you've got to understand is I've literally just watched the episode. I fucking... So it's still... Right, anyway. Let's get on to the good stuff. Zenitsu, what a fucking guy. What a guy. Like I said, it's not, it's not like he's in his subconscious badass mode. And we even got some information regarding, like, the reason why he sort of is that the way he is. You know, people never really think much of him. And also they don't even have to say anything in order to portray that. Which makes sense in the continuity because in, like, you know, also in this episode, but in the past few episodes, like, just a simple look is something that Zenitsu sees, and it's not just a look on someone's face that he gets that from, but also he's hearing more than that, like, you know, what they're kind of feeling on the inside. He's like, you know, he was talking about it like he hears so well that he can hear the heartbeat of someone, or the way that the blood, like, rushes around the body, and you know what I mean, like stuff like that, that he's gotten to the point where he knows what people are thinking based upon that. You know, and people have never thought, like, that much of him. So I guess he's had this his whole life, and therefore that's why he's gotten this, like, real self-conscious, like, thing about him. You know, and I'm happy for him. you know, because it's something he didn't have to do, and he just decided, you know. It may have been that point in the in episode 11, I think, when Tanjiro give him the you know, the rice ball or whatever, the full one, even though he didn't have any, you know, he didn't have any food. And then obviously Zenitsu would, you know, half it and give it back to him. For that maybe it was the first time that anyone showed him any kind of kindness, you know. So maybe it's just from there that's where he has that sort of you know, respect and sort of loyalty towards Tanjiro, that's the reason why he you know, he took a beating for him. So yeah, I mean, even knowing that it was a demon inside and not, you know what I mean, like, even that didn't deter him from it, you know what I mean? Like, if you're taking it from the perspective of like, well, he's doing Tanjiro a massive favor by protecting the box, not knowing what's inside, that's one thing. But knowing that there was a demon in there is a big deal because of how cowardly he is. So not only is he taking a beating from somebody who he would say that is much stronger than him. Now, in terms of like subconscious Zenitsu versus the ball guy, I don't know. Zenitsu when he's under is pretty badass. We've only seen like one attack from him, but he looks very powerful. But yeah, not only was he he thinks that, you know, he's obviously, him in his fully conscious mode, thinks that he's taking a beating from obviously somebody that's much stronger than him. And the fact that he's protecting a demon inside that, you know, for all he knows, can bust out, you know what I mean? We've seen Nezuko bust out. He obviously hasn't, but, you know, it's like from two different sides he's getting a beating. So it's like he's like being a sort of you know, a hero and a good person times two. So, you know what I mean? That's a big move for Zenitsu. So yeah, really happy about for him. So yeah, he's, I think, honestly, like, after that, he may be like my favorite character, occurring character, of course, because otherwise I would have said Giyu. Somebody did obviously ask me in the comments like who my favorite character was, and so somebody did reply like saying that, oh, it's a bit too early. I think I might have watched episode 12 by that point, but yeah, I mean, they said that it was a bit too early to sort of pick a favorite character because at this point in the story, or at least like episode 12, Zenitsu had only really been introduced. The ball guy had only really been introduced, and other than that, it was only really Tanjiro and Nezuko that really had a sort of like, you know, occurrence throughout the show. I suppose like Orokodaki as well, but you know, like, there's been very small parts of certain characters that I'm sure will come back. Obviously, the likes of Giyu, but I did tell him that, like, you know, I guess I'll just go on sort of, you know, on the outset looking in, like, first impressions or whatever. Then Giyu was my favorite. I mean, I've got his kimono, for Christ's sake, you know. But yeah, I mean, as a current character right now, Zenitsu might be my favorite so far. You know, it's still like when he goes on one of those massive tangents that he like never seems to stop. It's a bit much. It is, but I think looking deeper, he's I think that side of his character is what's important. It's not the over dramatic, you know, crying out loud all the time persona that matters for Zenitsu. It's the thing behind that, you know what I mean? And I try to tell this to people all the time that, like, you know, and like I always bring this back to Batago anytime I get a fucking chance to bring him up, but it's the same premise, right? You've got a character that exudes this one personality, right, that is so out there and so like pushed upon you that people don't want to look. Like, it's not that they can't, it's just that they refuse to even look at the good stuff that they do because they're so annoyed by the bad stuff that they are shown to almost be. So, like, they refuse to look, like, deeper, and it kind of peeves me off. But, you know, if it's just one of those things that, like, I feel like, you know, and I've already seen that there are people out there that are just like, oh, Zenitsu's still annoying, you know what I mean? And I know exactly what those people are like. Like, they're the kind of people that will never change their mind. They are, like, you could give them every reason under the sun, you know what I mean, to tell them, like, why they're not as bad as you think. And it would just reinforce their idea of that kind of, and just give them more reason to hate on them. Because, you know, it's like the same it's the same thing of, like, if you haven't watched a show before and you have all these people telling you to watch the show, it's great, it's fantastic, it's awesome, you obviously build up the hype and then it doesn't live up to the hype. It's the same kind of thing where if you're trying to tell, like, people why these characters are so good, then it just makes them hate. So maybe I'm doing a disservice by saying this, but I think Zenitsu really deserves credit for what he was doing here. So good on him. Good guy. All right. So we had keeping with the sort of Zenitsu and Shoichi thing, when they were walking through the corridors and whatnot, that the Suzumi actually spun a room in a different part of the mansion, which I didn't think was a thing. I thought it was only, like, really the room that Kyogai was concentrating on. But I don't know if he was getting, like, obviously more pissed off, so it might have increased the sort of the potency of the blood demon art, and therefore affected rooms further away. But we saw that it rotated, obviously. Which axis would it be? Like, it'll be is it the Z axis? The one where it goes up and over. So basically, they were falling down and ended up falling out of the mansion, which, you know, goes back to when that guy flew out. That's the reason why. I was wondering if it was a case of, like, he got kicked out, because the way that he came out like backwards. You know what I mean? It was almost like he got kicked out, as opposed to, like, really, because you wouldn't, like, if you had any control, you wouldn't, like, run and jump backwards out of the fucking building, would you? So it makes sense why that guy came out of the building and also, like, landed really fucking hard, because that's what would have happened to that guy. And I hope he remembers. I hope that is in the next episode, because he said he would come back and bury him, right? I want to see that. I don't want to completely forget about, because, yeah, even though it's just a character that, you know, it's just a human that we saw, I feel like there's one of the things, like, that this show has been doing over the course of, like, up until this moment especially, has been, like, you know, they have had that very sort of, like, sympathetic view and of, like, humans obviously losing their lives and stuff, and you see them, like, burying them and whatnot. So I want to see that. What else? So yeah, and then we got obviously the whole Kyogai stuff. So we got a look into his past life, and then he was a writer, most noticeably, like, I guess, well, an author, I suppose, because he was writing a novel that was said there at the end in the after credit scene. And was told to give up by, I guess, a parent, or, you know, I guess it could have been, like, I don't know, because I don't know what trying to write a novel was like back in those days. Like, I don't know if you had, like, a publisher that you would give your works to, because it could have been that as well. It could have been just a publisher, but who knows? But yeah, I mean, there was obviously a point where the guy walked over the papers or whatever, walked back, and then Kyogai obviously turned demonic and used his Suzumi and killed him. I think that was a visual. I don't think that actually happened. I think that was a metaphor for what actually did happen eventually. Like, I feel like he did kill that guy, but I don't think it happened in that moment. Like, if we're going back to that scene in the flashback, I don't think that guy stepped on the papers, walked behind him, and then, you know, Kyogai got that angry, he became a demon. Because obviously we know that he can't become a demon. That you need to become a demon via Kibutsuji. So, you know, like, and then, like, the first time after it happened, I was like, well, was he a demon when he was writing that novel, and he was just posing as a human? But I don't think so. I think it was just a visual for, and like a sort of a metaphor for what actually did happen. Like, it did occur, it just didn't happen in that way. Like, he did actually kill him, just, you know what I mean? Whether he killed him in human form or when he became a demon, I don't know. Because he might have, you know, when he became a demon, he probably could have still had that. I imagine he probably would have still had that sort of vendetta against the guy, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna fuck him up. So, you know, but yeah. And then also, how did Tanjiro know? Because as far as I remember, I don't recall Kyogai ever giving his story to Tanjiro. Like, he never said it out loud. It was just something that was obviously within it was just like going on in Kyogai's head, you know what I mean? Why it was like sort of pissing him off, because you know, Tanjiro was talking about how he's never going to give up and whatnot, and it kind of like he was seeing something within Tanjiro, and then Tanjiro avoiding all the papers, which almost seemed like he obviously didn't do it specifically to get on Kyogai's like sort of good side in a way, but it just so, like, you know what I mean, he was doing it so that he would have like I guess more balanced, like even footing. Obviously, I think that tied into the last episode when Urukataki was talking about water breathing and how you can like use it with your body, like if obviously you turn into a cup, turns into a cup. And I think that like, he was using that to sort of strengthen the muscle around his broken bones so that he could, you know, he could maneuver better. And that obviously turned into his ninth form, which is really cool. Another sort of similar to like the sort of the water dancing one, like, you know, the footwork, that was also very similar. And also, looking by the visuals, it looked like obviously the room was spinning and he was like running around with it, like almost like a loop to loop around, like while he was you know, heading off towards obviously Kyogai, which is really cool. And obviously that sense of balance while the room's spinning is tough, because you can only, when the room's spinning that fast, you've got to have, you can't like stay footed like on the, I guess you can't say grounded, I suppose would be the correct term, all that long, because the room would spin while you're on the ground. So if your foot was down for too long, it would cause your body to move with it, and all of a sudden you would be off balance and you wouldn't be able to think. So you would have to move like very, very quickly, which is really cool. But yeah, I don't know how Tanjiro knew. I don't know if it was just a case if he was taking like sort of hints from the way Kyogai was acting, and he just kind of guessed. Let me know in the comments. I don't think I missed anything in regard to that. I may just be forgetting something that was said like last episode or something, but I don't know. So yeah, and then obviously when he killed him, he got the blood, which I feel like should be good enough to use. We still don't know if like what Susumaru, is that what was it? That was her name, wasn't it? Yeah, Susumaru, and I don't think they got Yahaba's blood. I think he disappeared before they could get it. But we haven't seen if like Susumaru's was like sort of, I guess, good enough, potent enough. I imagine this guy's was, though, because I mean, even though he's not a Kizuki anymore, he was. So I think it should be it should be good enough. But also he's got, so Yushiro conjured up a knife that it acted like a syringe as well, so that when you implant it in it, it just automatically sucks up the blood. That's crazy, man. It like acts in the opposite way that Kibutsuji applies his demon to other people, like that demon blood to other people, because he does it in the opposite way. Like if you were to, you know, squeeze a syringe, it comes out, but in the knife it like works the opposite way. I wonder if that was meant. I mean, I know that that's like really the only way that you can sort of get a hold of blood, really, as a syringe. It's the most obvious one, so it could be just a coincidence. But I like the sort of, even if it wasn't meant to be that way, I almost like the sort of you know, the opposites of that. That, you know, Muzan. It's almost weird as well, because like it's like Muzan gives, but Yushiro and Tamio take. But it's, you know, for obviously the opposite reasons. Taking it is for the good reason, giving it's for the bad, because obviously he's giving fucking demon blood to people and making them demons. But yeah, I like that sort of the way that appears. And also talking about what appears, a cat messenger appears. So a cat was basically following Tanjiro around invisible until it meows. You know, I guess the cat must be very, very intelligent. Because the cat knew what was going on. As soon as it got blood, meowed, come out of invisibility, got it, meowed, fucked off. to give them, go get them back. I mean, I don't know where they fucking went. As they moved, right? I mean, that cat's got a long way to go, put it that way. But yeah. The Tazumi disappeared as well when Kyogai died, which obviously made sense. Like, I thought it was weird when they were like just chucking stuff at like Tanjiro, even though he was like clearly shouting their name out, you know. But I guess, you know, they're kids and they were on edge. But yeah, I thought it was weird. I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense. The Suzumi disappeared, so they wouldn't be able to do all that stuff. So yeah. Back to Zenitsu as well, because I actually forgot one. He said that he hears, like, you know, he basically, his hearing was so good that it got to a point where that he could actually hear people when he was asleep. So that explains why when he was asleep and Shoichi was basically like, you know, he shouted out for Zenitsu, that Zenitsu like awoke. Now, I don't think the hearing of when, like, hearing things when he is asleep is in any way related to the subconscious taking over. It's just, I think I need more information on how that it like works, because he's definitely asleep when that's happening, right? And I don't know I want to know the ins and outs, man. I want to know the ins and outs. But it's cool anyway. And yeah, it was Zenitsu knew he saw the ball guy before, the 5th final selection survivor. So he was the one that was the 5th one that when it went back to whoever the fucking, I guess the leader of the Demon Slayer Corps was, you know, we looked at him from behind and he was saying that there were like 5 survivors. And yeah, he was one of them. So interesting. But obviously, like, he's totally like impatient, so obviously wouldn't wait around. He was the first one in, first one out. So I gotta wonder where the hell he got his swords from then. You know, said he was self-taught, or at least, you know, the beast breathing. I don't know if the beast breathing itself is self-taught, but the move itself was self-taught, right? So I don't know what is self-taught and what isn't. I suppose you can go into the final selection at any point. Like, there's nothing stopping you from entering it, but you better be ready. So it could have been a thing where if he was self-taught, he could have been like, he could have entered anyway, even if he wanted to. He would have had to have known where it was, though, right? And I feel like it's, I don't know. I need more information on him, really. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I'll be sure to watch the opening for episode 14, because yeah, I completely fucking forgot that, yeah, I can actually watch the opening at this point. So cool. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish, ask any questions. And I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier for $5 a month. That gives you access to shows a week early, including Demon Slayer. So obviously episode 14 will be out for the public the same day as this episode. But you'll be able to get access to episode 15 and 16 right now over on my Patreon for early access. So go and enjoy those if you wish. There's also obviously full length, like I said, and you can watch all of these shows in full and not just the 10-minute version. And then there are other tiers where you can pay to have a show reacted to as well. So if you want me to react to a show, go have a look at those tiers and see what they offer. But that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.